Hello and welcome to the latest edition of Untitled Reviews. Now, given the focus that this channel has on rather premium products from the likes of Razer, Asus, and other manufacturers, it would be very easy to think that we over here dismiss the slightly cheaper and no-frills gaming options that are out there from all manner of manufacturers. But if you look at the channel page, you'll notice that one of the most popular videos we have is actually on the Razer Death Adder Essential. Which just goes to show how important those slightly less expensive options are for you gamers out there. And we're going to alleviate that issue here by introducing you to Logitech's brand new G203 Lightsync mouse. And the G203 as a mouse, much like the more premium options such as their G502, that looks to have been a consistent part of Logitech's product lineup in various iterations for what must feel like centuries now. And this new particular version aims to bring with it some updated and increasingly flashy lighting. With its 8000 DPI sensor and a 6-button setup, it's perfect for you casual gamers, and also certainly with a price of $35.99 isn't going to look to burn a hole in your wallet. And what you get in the box is certainly reflective of the G203's no-frills capabilities. It's just the mouse itself, complete with some quite hefty safety and compliance documentation, a small quick start guide, and a rather pleasant sticker. So, how does the G203 stack up against the competition when it comes to design? Well, unlike slightly more edgy looking competitors like the Viper Mini, the G203 isn't really going to be setting the world alight when it comes to design and construction. I mean, that's not to say that it's not good. Of course it is. Of course it's absolutely brilliant. Some may say that it looks completely uninspiring, but from a personal perspective, I don't really see in any point in fiddling with something that looks so classic and so simple. Now, the G203, like a lot of slightly more budget-oriented mice, is constructed out of some rather hard-wearing and sturdy plastics, meaning that it's certainly well built, and even though it comes with a slightly lower price point, looks to be built to last. That sturdy nature is also reflected in the fact that it weighs just 85 grams, which, whilst it is some 20 grams heavier than Razer's competitor, the Viper Mini, it's still rather light for a mouse of this stature and in the general gaming mouse sphere in general. As I say, it also certainly looks the part with its rather symmetrical yet not ambidextrous design as a result of having kind of forward and backwards buttons only on the right hand side. But even then, with those 6 programmable buttons, they are all rather firm and tactile to the touch. They're not like using a wet sponge or kind of typing on grass, if you will, as has plagued some other mice over the last few years. And even with a lack of rubber grips on the side to help grip, the G203's symmetrical design caters for those who like a palm grip. Meaning it has really been built with ergonomics and comfort in mind, and that overall shape makes it nice to use both in short, sharp office work and those rather long gaming sessions as well. To some, it might be considered a little bit narrow, and the fact there's no additional kind of side pods to put on does limit the user base a little. It's not the best mouse for those with the slightly larger hands, but to be honest, it fits my hands absolutely perfectly, which made it a joy to use. Of course, the important point for all gaming mice, be them costing 200 quid or 20 quid, is how they perform in games. Well, where the G203 does win against slightly other budget mice like Razer's Death Adder Essential is that it makes use of a rather higher sensitivity 8000 DPI sensor that provides ample speed for the more casual gamers out there. You only really want to be going above, say, 12 or 15,000 if you're somebody who's looking to be either competitive or just take your game to the next level. And given the price, there's no real expectation for Logitech to shove in their hero sense from the G502 into the G203 just yet. Maybe that could be on a future iteration. But even though this mouse is designed for casual gamers, that also works to Logitech's advantage with the G203 Lightsync. They've also got themselves a decent little office mouse in their hands here. The actual maximum out-of-the-box sensitivity of the G203 is only 3200 DPI, which is more akin to office mice like Cherry's Gentix 4K, which you'll know is a mouse I rate absolutely highly. It's only adjustable up to that zany height of 8000 in the additional software. 3200 DPI, as I say, is more comparable even to Logitech's own office mice, like the much more expensive MX Master 3, again, which I absolutely adore. There's also a video on that on the channel if you want to go and check that out as well. And given the fact it's a small mouse as well, the G203 can also be used as a rather comfortable and useful travel mouse, especially given the fact that it also sports a 2.1 meter cable, which makes it a little bit longer than some other mice out there. Now, where the G203 does also win is that it incorporates what Logitech calls optimized button tensioning, meaning that these two main mouse buttons have slightly stronger springs in them, meaning that they won't go mushy after a short period of time and extensive usage, as has plagued other mice. And what this means, as I say, is that it's got rather tactile and certainly clicky buttons that make for a great user experience overall. And now it's certainly on the lighting side of affairs where the G203 Lightsync excels the most, having been on this particular element where Logitech have focused their efforts on improving the lighting and the amount of zones that you get as opposed to their old G203 Prodigy. Logitech have continued with the original two provided lighting zones that the G203 Prodigy sported a few years ago. But what they've done is that they've now fiddled with the lighting strip that goes around the bottom edge of the mouse. And now within Logitech G Hub, as you'll see, that can now be split down into 3 separate areas. The out-of-the-box lighting, as you can see, is fully RGB with 16.8 million colours, although it is currently just set to purple for the good of the camera's autofocus. And even with these kind of decent studio lights that we've got on here, they are rather bright lighting. Although perhaps if you do turn it up to 10, is a little bit blinding in the more darker settings. But to be honest, for an out-the-box lighting on a mouse, and for a mouse that comes at a fraction of the cost of more premium offerings, you can't really argue with the lighting that you're getting. So, on the software side of things, how does Logitech's G203 Lightsync stack up against the competition? Well, with regards to the lighting presets and options, given the fact it's a budget mouse, Logitech's G Hub software is pretty damn good. And given the fact that it now runs with their fantastic Lightsync lighting engine actually on the mouse itself, there's more room for customization than ever before. By way of presets, there's all your usual favorite options, so you can have a fixed color. Currently, as you can see, it's currently fixed to being purple, letting it cycle through the colors at all manner of rates and speeds and brightnesses. The classic breathing that goes along with plenty of other gaming mice at this price point, with color waves, blends, and also some marvelous off-the-wall options like Logitech's Screen Sampler. So with whatever you've got on the screen, this will try and match some lighting up with it as well. There's also these freestyle options. You can customize all of these 3 lighting zones. That's the big advantage of the G203 Lightsync, because it now splits this lighting bar into 3 separate customizable zones as opposed to just the one. There's even the options to fiddle with having some preset animations. So if you wanted an ocean wave with a random set of colors and sorts of speeds as well, that can be done on the lighting side of things. There's also the option in here to configure all of the G203's 6 buttons quite nicely. So if you wanted to have this mouse button on the side here now on a Mac, for instance, if you wanted to have that as a save shortcut, you press that button, it saves the document. So you can assign it to any manner of keys, actions, also within associated software like Discord and OBS. There's also the option to program macros and to even launch everything from system commands. Of course, one of the big things with any particular gaming mouse is the ability to fiddle with the DPI. Of course, that is how quickly the mouse moves across the screen, or rather how slowly it does if you've got it on a slower setting. It's 4-stage adjustable, and as you'll see from mine, I've got it at there's the standard 400, 800, 3250 for general office work, and of course 8000 for that proper gaming experience, if you want to use this G203 for any form of gaming. It's really a mouse that's kind of got a twofold purpose of being decent for light gaming as well as a good office mouse. There's obviously the options to have a DPI shift, so you can also kind of clutch it to another DPI while you're gaming. So if you wanted it to go down to a lower DPI for like 800, if you're aiming for more accuracy, that can be done as well, which is absolutely marvelous. Obviously a nice little button to restore default settings, just if you want to go back to how this mouse was kind of intended to be used. But overall, the G203 is marvelous, and G Hub is a fantastic piece of software. So, in conclusion then, should you buy Logitech's marvellous G203 Lightsync? Well, it's a perfect mouse if you're one of the more casual gamers out there and just want a mouse that's going to get you by with some light gaming and predominantly office work. That 8000 DPI sensor and 6-button setup means that it's been designed with specifically you in mind. If you're also on a tight budget, the G203 aims to provide that perfect blend of performance, looks, and a sturdy design that you really don't get on many of the more gaming-oriented mice at this price point. And if you're one of those people who doesn't like these kind of 10 got 10 or 12 different RGB zones on products these days. With the G203 only featuring 2 prominent lighting zones, it's great for those who don't want that kind of really high elements of customization. But if you're somebody who wants something wireless, or you've got a lot more money to spend, or you're somebody that's a dedicated gamer, then there are plenty more mouse that we've reviewed not only on this channel, but plenty more mouse out there in the big wide world of the internet, such as, say, Razer's Death Adder's V2 Pro, for instance, and that will offer exactly what you want. But in conclusion, the G203 Lightsync is a great budget option, and with that 8000 dpi sensor, pretty decent lighting and sturdy construction, it's like they're offering the full package for a fraction of the price of some more expensive options. And I guess all that remains to be said is that if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. To follow us on Twitter and Instagram, link should be appearing on the screen right about now. And to also check out the blog in the description below. There should be a myriad of posts up on there for you to enjoy. Also, another aside is that there's now a Teespring store where you can pick up some marvellous Untitled merch, be it if you're looking for t-shirts, mugs, sweatshirts, hoodies, wall art and whatnot. There's all the stuff down there, and Teespring do ship worldwide, which is absolutely marvellous. And also, if you like the kit that we feature in these videos, be it this particular Logitech mouse or any of the other kit that we've featured across the channel's videos, that's your keyboards, your mice, your headsets, microphones and more, then there'll be Amazon links down in the description of those where you can pick them up. So thank you very much for watching.